Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. This is match 2, the semifinals of Grand Arena Championships 11. We're doing 5v5, as you can see on the little overlay thing here, and it's exciting, guys. I won. I had a great season last season. I went 11-1. Kind of did poorly on the one that I failed, as might be expected. But other than that, I had a really great season of 5v5. The season before that of 5v5, I also went 11-1. Then I think I went 12-0. Like I've had some really great seasons lately in 5v5, which is great. And so this season I started off strong. I beat the guy pretty bad. His name was Booger. It wasn't pretty. And now we're in the semifinals against a dude named Enlo. He's a guy I have faced before, actually, in Grand Arena. I beat him that time, and he's a good guy, though. We were talking on Discord a little bit. He actually agreed to do his attacks before I did my stream, which is really cool. So I'll show you guys all of these results and everything. He's also in a really good PvP guild. He's on Team Instinct. He has better mods than I do. He has all the characters that are relevant at the very top, and it's going to be a really tricky match. So before we jump into that, though, guys, do want to throw a huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are amazing. This is out of date, and that makes me less amazing than you guys. Really, really appreciate all the support, guys. You have really, really opened the doors to a lot of different things that just things that help me, like not just being able to do things for this channel it's been game changing. So really appreciate that, guys. And now let's talk about defenses here. So here's what I placed. I'm not going to go into too huge amount of detail here. I did kind of, when I scouted my opponent, he either places a bunch of like off-meta counters and stuff on defense and keeps his Galactic Legends, or he places both Galactic Legends on defense. And I predicted, just based off of things that I observed and everything, I predicted that he would probably keep his Galactic Legends. I wasn't sure. I needed to make sure that I could counter his Galactic Legends, but my prediction was that he wouldn't place them. And furthermore, I predicted that he would be placing his Commander Luke team with Chewpio on it. And even though we'd only done that like one time in the past 6 matches, I thought, just based off of trends and stuff, it would take too long to explain. I predicted that's what he would do, though, was place his Commander Luke. So I'm actually, here's a challenge to you, though. I have a pretty standard set of, like, some teams I always keep on defense. I want to see if you guys can predict if you can see what team I kept for offense that I normally keep on defense to counter his Commander Luke with Chewpio. So pay attention and tell me in the comments if you were able to predict it, or you can brag that you did even if you failed at it. I won't know the difference. I'll probably suspect anyone who does say that just because I'm a suspicious something. So anyways, we've got my own Commander Luke team down because I wanted to see if I could draw out his General Skywalker. I was hoping to do that with that team. He had used it in the past, General Skywalker, to counter this Chewpio team, so I was hoping that would happen again. My Rey team has Nest, just to add another element of nervousness for my opponent. Nest can really mess up a Vader team my Nest isn't modded the right way to do that, frankly, but it does add an extra level of complexity to that Vader counter. On top, I have my Padme team with Plo. I wanted to keep Shock T available for offense in case I needed to split my Jedi up, because normally I use Jedi Revan and Jedi Luke on the same team to counter Supreme Leader Kylo. If my opponent did not have Kylo, then I needed to make sure that my that if he didn't have his Kylo on defense, I needed to make sure that I could split up Luke and and Revan so that they could have their own teams to be able to counter multiple squads. So I kept Shock T and put Plo there because Padme is honestly fine with the 4, with her power, her 4 power team. Her I don't know what I'm saying. Her team with Ahsoka and Anakin and GK, and then we can just throw in Plo. So I have my pretty standard Jedi training Rey here with the Hero Bros, and then I have a Darth Revan team without Bastila. I needed to keep Bastila to counter his Rey team, which is the Rey team he places is High Tenacity Malak Rey team. So I needed Bastila to be able to get through his crazy tenacity. And then on the bottom, I have my Supreme Leader Kylo with Phasma and Geos. So his teams that he placed when we finally got to see him on the bottom, he had his Darth Revan team it's the full bastard version, which means it has Malak and Bastila on it. And that immediately told me that he did not place his Rey on defense, or at least his standard Rey team. It was a pretty good indicator that he had kept his Rey, in fact. And so I was kind of happy to see it, even as you kind of cringe when you see a full bastard Darth Revan. And then he did have Grievous with Newt as well. And then up top, he did place his Commander Luke, so that was exciting. I could use something to counter that. And then a Jedi Revan team. This was totally unexpected. A Jedi Revan team without Hermit Yoda, or without any Yodas. Like, it's just like a timeout Revan team. It's a pretty strange team. Not something he's placed in the past. And then Darth Vader lead. His Darth Vader lead is pretty quick. I think he has like 140% potency on his Vader. Super crazy. Pretty good team. Double tanks with synergy on both of them with Palpatine and Vader. So pretty cool stuff. And so I told you guys that I had attacked, or that he had attacked. He was going to attack first, and he did. So up top, or on the bottom, I should say, because bottom is more accurate, Luke and Rey got one shot. No idea what he used. I didn't see his scores or anything. I just logged in and they were gone. But yeah, Luke got one shot, which told me I thought he probably wouldn't use a Galactic Legend. I thought probably he'd just use General Skywalker like I was hoping. And then in the back we have Kylo. It took him 2 hits to get through Kylo, so I was kind of thinking like maybe he used his. I thought maybe he just used his Kylo to mirror. That's what he's done in the past, and then people struggle to mirror this team for whatever reason, and so I got to defend there, and then Geos got slaughtered like the bugs they were. And then up top, happily, he killed my Darth Revan team, which who cares about them? They're kind of jerks anyways. But my Jedi training Rey actually got 2 defends, and then Padme hadn't been touched. And I was talking to him on Discord, and I really wasn't trying to get hints about like if he had already attacked or whatever. And he basically said that he was done, but I wasn't going to ask him. That's not the kind of thing you want to do. Like, I think that would have been impolite, in fact. So, we were talking about things. I was trying really hard not to like hint at him giving me information. I didn't want to do that. That's kind of unfair, especially because he was awesome and attacked first before I showed the whole stream what my back defenses were. Like, he could have been dishonorable and had a lot more information going into the match, and so I really appreciate that about him doing that. So I wasn't trying to. Anyways, he did kind of say on his own that he thought that he was done. And it looked like it. Like, that Jedi training Rey team isn't something you can just cobble a team together and hope that you win. Well, you can absolutely do that, but you don't actually have a chance to win if you do that. So anyways, guys, let's actually go to the matches battles, and I'll show you guys what happened. Alright, so the first thing I needed to do was get rid of that full bastard Darth Revan team, and I wanted to take General Skywalker here. They're basically that's why I took them to take on a strong team like this, either General Skywalker or Darth Revan. So you want to take out Bastila first. You only want to do basics, because if you do a crit on Malak, then Malak is going to taunt, and you don't want to get stuck behind Malak. You want to kill Bastila Shan Fallen if possible. So did single attacks here. I would have just done the basic attack on Bastila there if I could, if I needed to, but she was so close to death. Instead I targeted Marauder there and just did an AoE, took her out, got a bonus kill on HK even. So we got a 3-fer on that attack by Skywalker. He eventually did have to sit down because my General Skywalker is modded for offense as opposed to being modded for really crazy protection and defense like I used to have him, because he's used to killing Galactic Legends. So anyways, they did manage to kill my 5s. This is pretty impressive considering they actually only had 2 characters to do that with. So 52 banners, I'm basically always okay with. Like, I mean, you go into that fight knowing you're going to drop some banners, and 52, I've kind of forsaken the, like, always get 60 no matter what kind of situation here. And that, so anyways, we're good on that. 52, first time kill on Darth Revan, good to go. Now this Jedi, or this General Grievous squad, is obviously a little bit problematic. It has Newt in it, so it's hard to take out. And what I decided was I would take this Jedi Revan team and just frankly, like, I was pretty sure they weren't going to be able to clear me after this. Even before they attacked, I was pretty sure on my course of action that I was going to do this. The fact is, I am gambling big time. If they have Rey in the back zone, I won't be able to clear. I just won't be able to. I don't have the teams available. So I'm using my Jedi training, or my Jedi Knight Revan here, to clear this General Grievous. And the fact is, I was pretty sure this was an okay thing to do, just because if I did go into the back and there was Rey, I was pretty sure that would have stacked his defenses so high that he wouldn't have been able to clear me anyways. Then this was even before he had struggled against my defense. So anyways, guys, this is a pretty standard composition, or rather a standard counter. Now I'm using Shock T here, which is new to some of you perhaps. This is something that I learned to do in a different guild, actually, using Shock T instead of Hoda. We want Hermit Yoda for Jedi Luke later because he's the faster of the two, and Hermit Yoda is just amazing with Jedi Luke. Surprise, surprise. But otherwise, it's a pretty standard composition. I'll explain a little of what's going on. I was at a loss because normally I just pass turn meter to Hermit Yoda with Jedi Revan. We're taking Bastila here. Gosh, I haven't explained this for so long, guys. So to those of you who are new to this counter, you need to kill B2 first, and to be able to kill B2, you need him to be able to start shooting first because he starts out stealthed. We're taking Bastila lead because you get all this bonus protection, and when you have the bonus protection, you also have a ton of bonus tenacity, which keeps target lock off of your team for a while, as long as you have the bonus tenacity. So I will say that this is a pretty strange situation. Like, General Grievous barely got turns. Like, I don't know, maybe my opponent just forgot to put mods on Grievous or something. I don't know. I didn't check before I went in, which is perhaps irresponsible of me, but that's how it happened. So he barely got turns, and once I finally got Mark up again, I was able to just mark Grievous and finish him off. And the speed at which I finished him off kind of makes me think maybe that's what happened. Like, maybe I just maybe he didn't have mods or something. Maybe he removed them right before Grand Arena lock. Like, no judgment if he did. I do that sometimes too, but they did make, like, this is normally a much more difficult match, frankly. And like, I still have a ton of bonus protection on all my characters, so I would like to say that it's just skill, and in fact it was skill. I'm sure that that's the only reason I I still have all this bonus protection. So one way or another, though, it's been I ended up with a really good score here against an otherwise very difficult opponent. So 59, and now we get to see what's in the back zone, which my prediction was a Padme squad. He'd been putting Padme on defense sometimes, I think. And, you know, I was pretty sure that I could counter it still. I still had Darth Revan. Sorry, I still had Darth Vader. However, in the back, it surprised me in a big way, actually. They had a Mon Mothma team, which, now that I'm thinking of it, I don't remember having scouted that, if they had put it on there in the past. My opponent had put, traditionally, some pretty weak teams in the back, actually, just kind of as a continuation of having a really strong defense with his Galactic Legends. But he had put Jedi Training Rey with the Hero Bros, but no BB-8, no R2 with that squad. R2 was with Mothma, which is pretty strange because he's not a rebel fighter. He doesn't have that tag. So it was going to be an interesting match going into this zone, but I felt pretty confident going into this. So let's go to the top zone first, though. And you can see they have Commander Luke here. It's a 5-star Chewpio, and all the Zetas and all the everything. This is a very potent, very strong team, and I'm going to actually do a video on this in a day or two. This team is very difficult to beat because of all the crazy turn meter gain that they get from Luke's lead and all the different things that Luke does, combined with all the different abilities and out of activation shots. So what I ended up doing, I took, and this is the moment of truth, guys, did you guess correctly? I took General Grievous for the first time in maybe ever on offense. Like, I guess I've done it one time that I can remember to try to take down a Darth Revan team that I needed to way back in the day. And other than that, it's been a defensive stalwart. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here except for how I went about this match, and then I'll make a video on it a little bit later. So, jumping into this match, I do have Newt on the team, you guys will see, as my 5th character. And honestly, after all of my testing and everything, I realized pretty early on that Droideka was just not a good 5th member. Like, Droideka in general is pretty good, but it's just not good enough. So what I'm doing here, I'm explaining to the stream. This was on our Friday night live stream, which I'm just obviously voicing over. But I noticed that what I'm explaining to people is I'm trying to get target lock on everyone. I put extortion on Commander Luke because that seems to work the best. Kind of keeps him in check just a little bit. And we're trying to focus down Chewie. And you want to do Grievous's AoE first, if at all possible. So when they kill Newt, which is somewhat likely at least, then Grievous will immediately get a turn, and you can do an AoE. You get target lock on everyone. Now I'm checking to see which ability from B1 actually applies target lock, because I had forgotten, actually, embarrassingly. So what I'm doing here, we want to put target lock on everyone because we're gaining turn meter from hitting characters with target lock, and we also gain the ability to, well, they lose the ability to counter, which is a huge strength of that team. If they're target locked, they can't do counterattacks. So one thing to point out, though, if you're doing an AoE, even if it's going to hit everyone, you want to make sure you target the character you're trying to take out slowly over time, because B1 has assists that he's accomplishing, if possible. Now, you'll notice that I missed a lot. That's because Chewpio put blind on everyone. They still managed to kill Newt, but that's actually in a way good. We lose banners from it, but we also immediately get a turn from General Grievous, which is huge. You need some kind of turn meter shenanigans to be able to beat Commander Luke, or they'll just take infinite turns and then you lose. So, got 54 here. Not great banners, of course, but about what you can expect, honestly. So, got the win here, and now we have a Jedi Revan team and Darth Vader lead team, and then a couple teams We have fleets, we have a couple teams in the back, and we can call it good. So now we have... This is something I had been wanting to try for a really long time, guys, and I was excited to finally get the opportunity. It's I wanted to try Nightsisters against Jedi Revan, and this is kind of a weird team to try it on. The fact is, you can beat Jedi Revan teams with Talzin lead. It's done. It used to be a thing. I had never tried it. I hadn't even watched a video on it for a long time. This was going to be a weird match anyways, because there's Barriss in here and Old Ben instead of Grandmaster Yoda, which Yoda makes things so much more difficult, I think. But the fact remains, I wanted to try this. I have all relict Nightsisters. They're not like amazingly modded, but I mean they're fine. They're decent. They have all the right stats in the right places. They're just so a couple of them are lower relics or whatever. And so one thing you'll note is that even when I try to apply Plague, at some point I do try to apply Plague, it just doesn't go very well because Barriss has her passive heals and Jolee has his passive heals, and you just you apply Plague, and sure, great, you did some damage to the health pool, wonderful, cool, and then they just heal because of all their different shenanigans of doing things. So I was worried at first. He had marked old Daka and killed her, and then they marked Talzin. And the fact is, once your zombie dies twice, if they focus down old Daka, then you may be in trouble. And so what I was learning, you can see we've already been in here for a minute and a half, and I wasn't very close to taking these Jedi out, honestly. Like, you can see the Plague is here, and pretty soon it's just going to be gone entirely because of their passive healing shenanigans when I do crits and etc. And so honestly, I was like, man, I might just time out. I might have to just exit out. But the fact was, I wasn't going to use Nightsisters on any other team here. And this was just a cool opportunity to science things up a little bit. And so you can see Spirit's gone. I revived her, and then I realized that was maybe a mistake. Like, what I want to do, I'm not doing enough damage. The only real way I can escape this hell of, like, just all these taunts and everything, the only way I can really escape this hell is just letting Talzin die, or letting someone die, and then I just do basics and let Talzin assist. So Talzin gets back up, and then she assists and then dies. Every time she dies, that powers up not only old Daka's health pool, but it also gives Asajj a boost in her offense. So now it's like, okay, do I heal? Yeah, I'll heal. I'll take a break from my basics. But now we only have 2 minutes left, and I'm like nowhere close to killing these guys. I haven't even triggered Savior yet, in fact. Like, we're pretty far behind. So every time we do this and Talzin pops up from the dead, not only does she power up Asajj by, like, I think it's like 10% offense, it also gives Daka a bunch of health. It also gives me a ton of turn meter as well, because she dies, and I think Asajj gets, what, like 30% turn meter, something like that when someone dies. Old Daka gets 50% turn meter. And then I did manage to just, like, Asajj was starting to hit like a truck, like, just crazy. I managed to take out Jolee there pretty early on. Mother Talzin actually came back to life because she assisted when I killed one of them. But then they killed her again, which was nice, so we could power her up again, start powering Asajj up. We only have 1 minute left, but at this point I was like, man, as long as I'm focused, I'm probably good. Of course, Barriss gets a heal there, and the hope is, of course, that we don't just time out on Barriss because of her health. She has like over 100k health. It's crazy. But we got Talzin back up, trying to heal up as much as we can. But in the end, like, this team did succumb. Almost timed out, but once I realized the strategy, it's pretty good. I don't know how this would go against Grandmaster Yoda, so don't ask me, or I'll just probably tell you I have no idea, because that's the truth. And now we need to take out their Vader lead team. It's a pretty strange team with the nest and everything. And The chat actually really wanted to see Piet in use here, and I thought that this was probably good. So we're taking Palpatine so that we can get all the boosts from dispelled buffs and everything. One thing I should point out is we did the math, or I did the math with Nest in there. It made it pretty clear like my Vader was going to go first. So you have under Palpatine lead, he gets an extra turn. So I put up Murderous, whatever it's called. Wow, I forgot what it is again. But the fact is, I wanted to try to kill their Vader, so I was gonna get two times of just applying dots on Vader, and then I was gonna do a saber throw. If I could kill their Vader, then I'd have a pretty strong advantage. So I did manage to take him out. And, I mean, he only has like 100k combined health and protection. So it wasn't going to be that much of a challenge. Certainly not something crazy like Rey was. Now, with Thrawn, I didn't really have anyone to fracture here. There was just a couple tanks who were still taunting. So I decided to trade turn meter with someone who already had basically full turn meter. And what I decided to do here, instead of putting the weird Imperial Ambition thing on Vader or on someone, decided to do Daze here instead, just so that Nest couldn't hit me back. Now, one thing I do want to note, I saved Nest back. You can rewind if you want. When I was doing my initial murderous, whatever it's called, with Vader, I waited to get to Nest to do my AoE because I didn't want to hit her and have her hit me back. I didn't want that counter. But now that Piet went, he did his Daze. So now Nest can't hit me back anyways, and we're just going crazy like this. this is pretty cool. I wanted to get shock on Nest so that when Nest actually did go, and Nest has 0 extra speed, she's just stock, it's like 171 total speed. Once she finally did go, though, she wouldn't actually get a turn. We would just be doing we'd just be waiting. So hopefully the hope is that we can actually just take her out. We don't want to reduce her turn meter too far. We don't really have anything that does reduce her turn meter. If it was Vader lead, it might be a little more worrisome because he does reduce turn meter. But we're just doing basics. And now Piet, I didn't want to attack with him. He's only gear 10 with 4 stars. So just decided like maybe I do the Murderous Mayhem or whatever it's called, and Saber Toss did 500k damage, and that was no problem apparently. So got the one shot on that weird team with 60 banners. I don't think they took a single turn, which was kind of fun. And then in the back, it's like we have these double fleets, still not sure about it. Then there's a Finalizer at 6 stars and a with only 1 reinforcement, I should add, and a Home 1 fleet, so that was interesting. First, we need to take out this other zone, however, in the back, and so I had a ton of teams remaining, and I wasn't really sure exactly how to tackle that Rey team, that Jedi Training Rey, but there's no BB-8. I don't know where BB-8 is. Like, maybe BB-8 was actually with his Rey team on offense for the mirror. Actually, I bet that's what it is. I bet that's what he did. But this team is super weird. It's not that fast. I was like, man, maybe I could take Troopers, but Troopers probably can't chew through any of these guys. These guys are pretty fast. I have Jedi Luke, though, and so here, I'll show you guys what strategy I used. Jedi Luke, man, I'll just say this up front, spoiler alert, but Jedi Luke is ridiculous, dude. He is just really fun and crazy. He's a cool guy to hang out with, so I recommend using him. Alright, so I didn't have Shaak Ti. Like I told you guys, I wanted to take Shaak Ti to go on my Luke team. Obviously didn't pan out. Needed her to take out the Grievous squad, which was fine. I had Watt left over. After everything, I still had Watt, and it's just so weird, man. It's like, okay, so these guys have a ton of offense. They do a lot of damage. So I wanted to put the weapons tech on Luke first. He just, man, if he doesn't just get focused off the board, which he actually almost did. Look at how close to death he was. If he didn't get focused to death, though, then he's just going to be a monster. So watch some of these hits, guys. It's pretty cool. So I decided I was going to do the, I was trying to figure out the turn order and stuff. Still relatively inexperienced with the Jedi Luke lead. So what I decided to do here, I could, because I had full turn meter on another character, I did the stun here. And now we have old Ben going. He had full turn meter, that's the guy. He can do the Jedi Will, or whatever the special is, and then Luke immediately gets another turn. So he's stunned, then he immediately got another turn. He's now reduced all of their speed to slightly more manageable levels, though he's kind of fast naturally, because he's part of an offensive counter, and you need speed on him to take out Kylo. So we killed. You almost always just need to kill Resistance Hero Finn first. Like, he is such a threat. He is so strong. You want to be able to do that. I put the taunt tech on old Ben because why not? If the guy has a death wish, we may as well just hook him up, right? So took out the other Finn for good measure. And, we didn't want him to taunt. I didn't want him to taunt and cleanse everyone. And, he can start doing some pretty big damage. He can start stunning people. Really didn't want that. I decided Holdo actually has the ability to prevent my crit attacks. So may as well try to take her out next, especially because these other two have foresight. And I can't hit through foresight. I did have a mass assist though, so decided to just gangbang that Poe. And I did stun Rey, of course. She dispelled it on herself, so that was pretty cool of her. And now we just need to try to slow down and try to just regain all my health and protection. And actually that's like my old Ben got a turn. He had the tank tech on him, so he healed himself. And now it's just time. I was like, who do I put Master's Training on now? Like, no idea, honestly. Not like, neither of those guys really deserve tank tech, honestly, but whatever. So old Ben has a sliver of health gone, and I was like, you know what, let's just try to take her out anyways. And Hoda actually had a turn. He healed old Ben, and then old Ben got the kill. So good for old Ben. He's not used to getting kills, I'll tell you that. Finally, we have this Mon Mothma team. I had a few options. I still had my Kylo Ren unmasked team and everything. But I've been wanting to try bounty hunters on more Mothma teams. Now, this is an interesting thing. So I'm taking Mandalorian, which, of course, he wants us to get the contract so he can disintegrate someone. And of course, we want him to disintegrate someone because it's cool. And the problem is Mothma started with the lowest combined health and protection. And so trying to get the contract, we can't target her because she has her, her leadership or whatever ability it is. That's probably a unique, actually. We can't target her. Now, R2 put everyone in stealth, which is obnoxious as hell. The problem with it is, so this is a pretty cool team, and they're doing some damage and everything, but they're not doing enough to a Bossk lead. Like, Bossk is just super resilient, and all of these buffs and debuffs that are going on people are just healing me. So we're just going to try to focus the one guy down that we can. Mon Mothma did summon someone, so that was kind of cool. I guess we're not going to try targeting him, though. You can see all these stacks. Like, you can see she had 11 stacks. I didn't get the crit on Cara Dune, which was unfortunate. With Boba, I thought I'd get the kill, but I eventually did take her out. And now we're going to try again to get the execute off on Chewpio. That actually did crit, so over 160k damage. Now, at one point, one of these guys had the lowest health and protection, the weakest, whatever. So I did manage to get the contract. I could disintegrate someone. So we're starting to do some good here. Shot Rebel Trooper down because he's just a chump anyways. No one likes him. And I was feeling pretty good. Like, I was hoping I could get ability block on Mothma, which was a fool's errand because Mothma has has tenacity up, and then she of course revived Cara Dune, which is obnoxious because she is super tough to kill. She's relicked, and we've just got to try to kill her again. One thing about this team though, like R2 doesn't actually assist or anything, and they really miss his assist. Like he stealths everyone, and then he kind of doesn't do anything. Like he's like, I guess I could set someone on fire, and then that's basically it. I don't really know how I feel about R2 on this team. It's an interesting idea. Bossk in the end prevailed, and with Grief and Mando at only gear 12, I guess it's kind of too bad that that team didn't put up more of a fight. I'm guessing that Bossk does pretty well against most Mothma teams. So now all we have left are ships, and I'd never really fought the Finalizer ever, really. And also this this Akbar team didn't have Biston, so it was like, okay, so how hard could it be? And I'm sure that it could be pretty hard. But the one thing that you guys don't have, I highly recommend getting it if you don't, is I have a cheat code called End All Be All. He knows all things about this game, and he happened to be watching the stream, so he was able to provide some pretty cool advice. So huge shout out to him. Go check out his channel. I'll try to remember to put a link in the video description. If I don't, just search for him. It's all one word. Oh, it's two words. Endall, Endall, space Beall. Great guy, very knowledgeable. He does great Grand Arena, mad schemes, crazy defenses. Cool guy. So go check him out. And now let's look at my fleets. So what I was told was that Finalizer is a hard counter to Millennium Falcon teams, to Rebels on defense. So I'm taking my Finalizer. I have a 7-star Finalizer. I did that right before GA lock. I even stayed up late to unlock him a little earlier, spent some crystals. All good. So you want to put the Extinguish Hope ultimate ability. You start with the ultimate. You put it on the Falcon so that he can't gain turn meter. And now I was able to stun him. Even if I didn't stun him, I could call with First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter. I can call Kylo to assist, and we just like that, before the Rebels even get a single turn, I was able to just focus down the Falcon. Crazy, like just crazy how fast that was. Now they do have a Rebel Y-Wing here. He's taunting, tough to kill. Biggs is also a tank, so it's gonna be tough. And I did kind of misplay it earlier. I should have, with the silencer, I should have done a special attack. For some reason, I was like, oh, I'll just stun Biggs. Not that that does anything. Like, who cares about stunning Biggs? And then I missed against the Y-Wing. Like, who misses against a Y-Wing? I don't know. I feel like Kylo Unmasked just kind of mailed it in this fight, honestly. So I did have the Houndstooth randomly available. I didn't know what to take in, though. And honestly, like, so I was on Twitch, and the responses weren't coming from people. I was like, I gotta make a decision. This is stupid. So I took my TIE Fighter in. I was like, I'll just, without the Falcon here, I can just bludgeon them with a ton of offense. And so I took in my other TIE Fighter. We got to take out the Y-Wing. They got the Phantom in, which was great, I guess. That meant that they'd probably get another reinforcement in, unless I was pretty quick in taking out everyone. I had advantage on Kylo, so I took the shot, passed turn meter to Kylo, and Phantom's almost gone. And now it is. 461 banners, so pretty good. Undersize attack. Now we have my Malevolence fleet can try taking on his Finalizer. Never done this before, but it also didn't have the silencer as the starting ship, which is crazy because with Finalizer, you actually start with all of your abilities. Like, you start with your reinforcement abilities on you. Like, that's part of the fleet. And so there's, like, no reason for Silencer not to be part of this fleet. So I decided the kind of the heart of this team, like, yes, the damage is in the TIE Fighters, but this shuttle, if I could take the shuttle out before anything else, then really, like, what are they going to do? Like, they're going to do a lot of damage to a bunch of really resilient dudes, or dudes that don't matter if they die anyways because they just come back. Silencer came back and came in. I was like, oh, because initially I was like, oh, probably he just kept it for offense, actually, because Silencer is just a great plug and play character, ship, whatever, but not so much in reserve, and there's no point to having him in reserve. So got the kill there, got 63 banners, pretty decisive wins with fleet, and that was that. I actually ended up with a full clear 1 shots, pretty good result here. Not as efficient as my last win, but most of my matches aren't going to be that efficient, frankly. So happy enough. My opponent did end up just not attacking further. So that was it. I ended up with a pretty conclusive, decisive win. My defense was pretty strong. I was nervous going into it. I told a few people I might have gone too hard on defense, and they were like, oh good, I'm going to watch that match, because then you're going to use some stupid teams to kill other teams. And I guess that prediction proved true. Happy enough. My opponent was a great guy, is a great guy. Appreciate you attacking early again. And anyways, guys, I'm going to call it good. This voiceover is making my throat dry, and it is really, really late. So I'm going to call it good. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.